In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object.
Objection!
But Ponko is equipped with a facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't, so that means...
Objection!
A face can easily be covered with a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. With her facial features hidden, the robot wouldn't be able to tell it was Dr. Sykes. Nah, he's right. To summarize, Miss Sykes stabbed her mother near the workbench. Then, using the robot, she moved the body to the table, where she removed the sword and was stained in blood. Order! But if that's the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place? You want a reason? Very well. What? You can't possibly have an explanation? Your emotions blind you to the truth. You could learn a lot from our robot friends. Calm and rational thought will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature? I believe I read that robots can be assembled and disassembled there, isn't that right? That's right, and to the defendant, who was just a child at the time, the table was like a magic box that could make a robot appear or disappear in seconds. But in the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in the flash. I was so impressed by what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. It looks just like magic to me what she could do. You can't possibly be suggesting. This young, sheltered girl had a difficult time distinguishing robots from people. But take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that. Sure thought that machine healed the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. No way. I refuse to believe it. Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanished without a trace. Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can. With all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table...
Hold it!
No, don't say another word. Just stop. Was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with her crime. That can't be. True chat. Order in the court. Order in the courthouse, eh? Edgeworth, she was just a little kid. How can you say such a horrible thing? Horrible? Humph. Like I said, you're just as green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth, no more, no less. My theory is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility.
Objection!
But dismantling isn't the table's only function, it can make repairs as well. It's conceivable that Miss Sykes moved her mother to the table in order to fix her. I suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or repair, it doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she didn't want to make it appear as if it had never happened, and that's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, and that's one possible explanation. But we mustn't forget the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant, and the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts that indicate the defendant's guilt, remain unchanged. This just can't be true. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claim? Evidence? Right, let's see, I can't think of any. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence. Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now, accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough. What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Edgeworth's argument seems solid enough, but there's no way Athena could have ever done anything like that. What do I do? There has to be something, but I can't think of a single thing. Simon? Prosecutor Blackquill! This is quite the farce you are conducting here. I could die from laughter. Prosecutor Blackquill, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is that your argument is based on an entirely false premise. Go on, we're listening. Could this be a miracle I need? But what is Prosecutor Blackquill trying to pull here? 7 years for 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. I'm the one who killed my mentor, and don't think you can alter the fact now. Your baldness, I will take to the stand, and I won't take no for an answer. Of course, Prosecutor Blackquill, please go ahead. Seven years ago, I went to Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. Ah, how cathartic it was. But little Punko here witnessed the victim falling. In other words...
Objection!
I don't need any of your other words, old man. I can guess what happened. Which would be? She fell, means she fell, merely that. A mother and child fooling around, perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. There was no dead body either, of course, meaning she must have left the room. So the murder occurred after the time period Punko described in her testimony? You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy.
Objection!
Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had the robot move something? Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating table to amuse herself, and she always had Punko move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Punko moved a heavy robot for Athena. This is awful. What is he saying seems to make sense, and yet...
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackquill, are you trying to even now turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring the Dark Age law to a close today?
Objection!
You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down into hell? Prosecutor Blackquill, his execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come out now, it's all over. Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder? That's right, so let's hear your verdict. If we don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx. Don't you dare, Judge. Don't forget I have hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her? Miss Blackquill. Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor? Blackquill. You selfish... Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdict. Is this really happening? Is it really going to end just like it did 7 years ago? I wanted to do it so bad. Even now I want to fly out here and go save him. No, I can't tell her. How can I lie to Athena? If I can't prove Prosecutor Blackquill's innocence in this trial, I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. I can't let this happen. But I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackquill's testimony. Athena, what are you feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. If he really is, I could sure use Athena's help here. Her power might be just the thing to get us through this.
Objection!
Sykes, don't know. No need for your chime in here, just accept that you are innocent.
Objection!
These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know. What are you talking about? Do you remember that horrible, horrible trial? Please, you have to listen to me. He didn't kill her. He's already screaming that he didn't kill her. Even now, every time I stand in court, it comes back to haunt me. Not being heard, no matter how hard you try, feeling so helpless. I'm terrified of courtrooms. I wanted to run out of that door even now. Oh, girl. And yet you found a way to keep your fears at bay and became a lawyer. Thanks. That's because one day I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could. This day has finally come, the day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I studied psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction. But Miss Sykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackquill innocent, then... The only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. The chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years to face the truth. Athena's being so brave confronting her past like this. This might really be the last chance to save them both. Prosecutor Blackquill, please testify one more time about the incident 7 years ago. Fine, but your efforts will surely be in vain. For I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart. This is gonna be tough. I went to...
Got it.
When we view your emotions... Okay, I thought him being angry was...
Got it.
This feeling of happiness, even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that? Simple. When I was looking for Athena and hadn't found her yet, I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that. Just now, you said that you went to the Space Center to kill Dr. Sykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead. I had no intention of harming Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that. Gah! The second I find an inconsistency, he cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. There's less noise now, but I don't see any instabilities we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. We'll just have to keep chipping away at him then, bit by bit. Could you update this testimony, Athena? You got it, boss.
Got it.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Got it. Got it.
Not even you can falsify your emotions, Prosecutor Blackquill. What? When you said that you killed Dr. Sykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had laid into wait to kill her to be sad at her death? Such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances. God, he can't be talking about that, can he? It was just a convenient subject for her research. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. My objective was to save Athena from an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject. What? I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing, but that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment, I thought, as I went to see. Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill. So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. Mr. Wright? How are you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. It went up? I've never seen it do that before. Prosecutor Blackquill is lying somewhere in his testimony, as a matter of fact. He's piling lie on top of lie in an attempt to make his claim sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings. That's what's causing me. How in the world should I approach this? I can either use an evidence-based approach or I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for inconsistencies in his emotion. There are no flaws in my testimony, as Baldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause and let the law free me of these chains already.
Objection!
I don't think so. Not while I'm around. Now, contradictory testimony or inconsistent emotions. Okay, let's present some evidence here. Got it, boss. But if you want to go back to looking for inconsistent emotions, just let me know. I can... If you find an inconsistency, say... Okay, let's try all his emotions.
Got it!
Okay, that's not it. Okay, let's try his testimony out.
Objection!
We're in trouble.